You're tuned in to the Foxboro BeatCast, a podcast for Patriots fans by Patriots fans. And here's your host, Kaleb McChesney.
Hello and welcome to the Foxboro BeatCast, everybody. I'm your host, Kaleb McChesney. Alongside me, I got a couple of different co-hosts today. All of them have been on the show at one point in time or another. As usual, Trent, the usual guy here, been holding it down for a couple of months now. Very, very proud of his work. Trent, how are you this week?
I'm doing great. Hometown team just drafted Caitlin Clark, and tickets for $5. About to be a Fever season ticket holder, it sounds like. So let's go.
Better get on that quick. Ken, who was here just a couple of weeks ago, I believe, maybe a little bit longer than that. Ken, how have you been?
Feels great. More draft talk. You love to see it.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end, and I know that the next person I'm about to introduce is just about sick of it as I am. Cam, you were here last time when Bill Belichick was fired and Gerard Mayo was hired. You were the one who broke the news with me. So, yeah, it's been a while. How have you been?
Yeah, I'm good, man. As a Vikings fan, I'm just ready to figure out what they're gonna do. It's kind of dragged on me now, but.
No, hopefully it's going to be a peaceful ending for all of us here in a week, a little over a week. But no real news to break, nothing new to go over. So we thought we'd come in here and have a little fun while we still can. What I have prepared for all of you is a mock draft, and obviously you can see the most important team right there in the blue and red with the number 3. This is going to be the Foxboro Beat mock draft, and it's going to be pretty simple, going to be pretty easy. Each of us have taken over 8 teams, 2 divisions, and we've prepared our list, we've prepared our notes. The board will update as we go on. We've got some trades. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to do the first round only, and hopefully I've laid it out simple enough. You guys ready to get into it?
Let's go.
Yep.
All right, Cam, you hold the first overall pick with the Chicago Bears. I assume that you're not doing anything weird here, and you're just going to go with the person who has been the pick for a solid 8 months now.
Yeah, and I mean, even if I had a different opinion, which I do believe he is the best quarterback in the draft, even if I had a different opinion, everybody knows what this is going to be. It's like any other number 1 overall pick in most classes. We know what it is in March. It's Caleb Williams.
Absolutely. Great. Quick explanation. QB1. According to most NFL GMs that you ask, a generational talent. We're going to go on to number 2, which is held by Ken. Ken, number 2 with the Commanders. A little bit of there's some turbulence going on with, is it Jaden Daniels? His meeting supposedly didn't go well, but he's been touted as a number 2 pick. Adam Schefter said, get those jerseys ready. What are you doing here?
Yeah. Personally, I would go Drake May. But because of Shefty, I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels here.
No second thoughts, no J.J. McCarthy action. I know there was a report today.
Not even close.
Not even close. All right. Jaden Daniels without a shred of a doubt. And now, Patriots fans, it is the moment you've been waiting for. I hold the Patriots pick here at number 3. And listen, me and Cam for the past month or so have been plotting out scenarios where the Patriots could trade down to 11, get some extra picks, and build this team in a different way than just getting the quarterback and hoping everything works out. But as the days go on and we get a little closer to the draft, I'm beginning to believe that the Patriots are going to sit at 3 and make that pick. Whether I think it's right or wrong, I don't know. I've had the stance that if you're going to take a quarterback, I'm okay with it as long as you love him. And obviously the top 2 are gone between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, which leaves 2 as I cross off Jaden Daniels on the board here. It is Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. I don't want to say I really hope that they don't love J.J. McCarthy. I don't want to sound like a doubter. I don't want to sound like a hater. But out of those 2, I really prefer Drake May's high upside talent, the high end, high risk, high reward kind of player that he is. So I'm going to take him there at 3 and hope that that's what the Patriots are going to do. But I don't know. It's a lot. It's murky waters about J.J. McCarthy in New England right now. Anybody
heads
have
up,
anything further to
heads
add
up,
before we move?
Heads up. Pick 11 says Casey.
Pick 11.
Yeah, it says Casey.
Oh, that is strange. Everything else looks good, so I guess that's just a hiccup. Okay, no worries. We'll quickly fix that. Pretend you didn't see it. All right, Arizona at number 4. Trent, what are you doing here?
So I'm gonna go with JJ McCarthy. I'm just kidding. I'm not going with JJ McCarthy. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't want to overthink it. I really like Malik Neighbors. I think any talks of Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr. is voter fatigue. He's the best wide receiver we've seen come out of college, and I don't know how long. He's getting comped to guys like AJ Green for a reason. There's a lot of talk about the Cardinals moving off of this pick. When you have a quarterback that you trust, and I think they do trust Kyler, and I think that they should trust Kyler, that wide receiver room is an abomination. Marvin Harrison Jr. immediately takes it up a few levels into a competent kind of room.
All right, and Cam, I understand we have our first trade of the night here.
Yeah, this is our first projected trade, and I mean, this isn't a surprise to anyone. Everyone knows what the rumors are. Everyone knows what the Vikings intend to do, and so our first projected trade is that the Chargers trade with Minnesota. Minnesota gives up pick number 11, pick number 23, pick number 129, and a future 4th-round pick to move up to number 5. Minnesota probably pays more than the trade charts would say that they need to, but you know.
You said you're giving up that Houston pick, right?
Yeah, 11, 23, 129, and a 4th next year. It's probably a little more than they need to on the trade chart, but any team they're trading with is going to squeeze them because, I mean, they can. So, and then with the 5th pick, Minnesota is going to select J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. And
all right, and you go ahead and lay out what this means, why you did it, a whole 9 yards.
So Minnesota obviously moved on from Kirk Cousins in the offseason. It's probably a smart move on their part, not tying up $180 million guaranteed and an older quarterback. And they got Darnold on a 1-year deal, but they acquired that 23rd pick from Houston with one intent in mind, moving up for a quarterback. And I think this is one place where J.J. McCarthy, despite the fact that maybe he doesn't have the high upside that Drake May does, maybe he isn't the dynamic runner that Jaden Daniels is, but he does have a very good arm. He ran a pro-style offense, and he comes into a perfect situation between the weapons that Minnesota has, Josh McCown as a quarterback coach, Kevin O'Connell calling plays. If McCarthy, I think he's a very good prospect. If he can't succeed in Minnesota, then I don't know what you're supposed to say to him. So I think he would really blossom with all of that going for him, and I think Kevin O'Connell gets his guy to run that offense. And as young as he is, who knows what his ceiling is.
So you think 5 being the 4th quarterback off the board, this is about how it should go, and Minnesota should be really excited about getting him there at 5.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, they really essentially because of the trade with Houston, they gave up their first this year, their second this year, and their second next year to get their quarterback of the future. I mean, you can't really complain with that.
Trent, you've been tooting the J.J. McCarthy horn all offseason. I'm beginning to get sick of it. What do you think about this move here?
I think Cam hit the nail on the head. Is Minnesota is the perfect place for JJ or any other quarterback prospect. I don't think people are giving enough credit to the fact that he played 3 years in a pro-style offense in college, a very successful one at that. And I think that's why I've said on here many times that I think JJ is a whole lot more NFL ready than people think. I think he could use some time on the bench playing under somebody. I don't necessarily know how much he's going to learn from Sam Darnold, but I think if he steps in week 1 to be the starter, if it is Minnesota, I don't think he'll have any issues at all.
All right. Ken, you're up. Number, what is that? 6 with the Giants. What's going on here?
So for the Giants, it's gonna be between 3 picks. It's 3 players between Joe Alt, Rome Odunze, and Malik Neighbors. Because I feel like they probably gonna give another year to Evan Neal. It comes down to receiver at that point, and then Malik Neighbors. I feel his explosiveness and his fit with the receiving core they already have. I think Malik Neighbors will be the pick.
No objections here. Trent, you're back up. You got the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, and it's another super chalky pick. Joe Alt just makes a lot of sense for this team. I know Tennessee fans, it's not the sexiest thing in the world to go offensive lineman in back-to-back drafts, but the offensive line is a serious sore spot, and Joe Alt is probably the most week one ready tackle in this whole class. So I think they get the guy that they need more than just about anybody else.
All right. Flying right through here. I got the Falcons at pick 8. Got the quarterback. Didn't need to move up for that. They signed Kirk Cousins to that mega contract. We'll see how that goes. Cam, I know earlier you had mentioned something along the lines of the Falcons maybe being a contender for one of the wide receivers here up top, whether that be Odunze or Brian Thomas Jr. But I'm going to stick with what I've done with the Falcons basically all offseason, how I've viewed them. I think that they're taking the best pass rusher available, and I think they're going to take Dallas Turner here without a shred of a doubt. So, yeah, that's pick 8, Dallas Turner. Up next, Cam with the Chicago Bears. What are you making of this?
So, if you were to add, a lot of Bears fans, if there are any, would probably be upset with me when I make this pick because they're all daydreaming about Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, just it's insane passing offense. But none of that really matters if you can't protect Caleb Williams. So, for me, I think left tackle is a subpar spot for them. They just took Darnell Wright to play right tackle. And so I think they go offensive line and they take Alu Fashanu out of Penn State. I think Ryan Poles, he is always built through the trenches. In reality, will they go Rome Odunze? Maybe. But to me, I think this makes a lot of sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the pick.
Up next, me with the Jets. I could do a couple of things here with the Jets. I could make them be the head case stupid organization that they've been basically our entire lifetime here. Even going back, I don't want to call you old, Ken, but you're certainly older than the rest of us here. The Jets have been poverty even since then. So you could do a couple of different things here. I've seen mocks where they get Brock Bowers here at 10. I'm not doing that. And I'm not going to give them a wide receiver. I'm going to give them the smart thing to do. They're going to give Aaron Rodgers some great protection and have some security for if Tyron Smith goes down on that 1-year contract. I'm going to take the next best tackle available. I don't know. Is it Talise Fuaga? Is that his name? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Great. And that's going to be the pick there with the Jets. And now the Chargers, after trading down, they're back up at 11. What do they make of this situation?
So it's really interesting when you come to the Chargers, because I don't think them trading down. I don't think a lot of people, most people expect the Jets to take Brock Bowers. So I agree with you that your reasoning is sound that they should be going tackle because they made that splash for Tyron Smith, but he's old and on a 1-year deal. So it's tough because they need tackle help the same way the Jets do. But I think if you're Jim Harbaugh, you're going to look at the talent of Bowers. He's always been a guy that loves tight ends. He's always been a guy that loves that type of the inline threat. And I think they're just going to look at it and take the best player available in their eyes. And I think they're going to take Brock Bowers in this situation.
And you got quite a run on picks here. You're up again with
we have we do have a projected trade here.
That is right.
So Denver does not own a second round pick. And so I think, and it's been heavily rumored from a lot of Broncos people that they're looking to trade down. So our projected trade is that Denver sends the 12th pick and a later pick this year to Cincinnati for the 18th pick and the 49th pick. And Cincinnati moves up here, which will put Ken on the clock.
Gotcha. Let me just update the board here. And Ken, you keep on going.
So this spot, it becomes a little harder with with Bowers and Fuanga going off the board right now. But for me, it would be between Troy Fautanu, and Brian Thomas Jr. So I think right now I'm gonna go with
Ken. Rome's on the board.
Oh, Rome's a pick. I didn't even realize. I thought he was gone.
I could just tell in your voice that you didn't think he was on the board, and I was just.
Oh yeah, Rome's the pick. My bad. But T. Higgins likely gone after a year. We're drafting for the future, and then you're gonna have a big 3 for this year.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Cam, you're up again with the Las Vegas Raiders. You're gonna make a pick here.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of ways you can go here. I think the opposite tackle to Colton Miller is a concern. I think corner is a concern. But I think in terms of what they need right now, I think the bigger concern to them is probably corner. And for me, I think the best corner on the board is Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. And so that is where I would make that is a pick I'd make there for the Raiders.
I really don't want to butcher this name. How do you spell it?
It's Quinton, but change the T to a Y.
Yep.
Oh, so I had it. Okay.
Quinyon.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the first corner goes off the board here as we get to what's that? Pick 14. Cam, I know that you have the trades written down. Do we have another one here?
Yeah, we have a projected trade here as well. This is the last one. New Orleans. I will have the exact number here because this is more of a package because they're moving back quite a bit. We have Buffalo giving up the 28th pick, the 60th pick, their 2025 second that they received from the Texans that belongs to Minnesota, and pick 128 this year for number 14.
Great. And now the Bills are on the clock, and obviously there's a huge glaring need now on that offense. They do not have they don't have a great wide receiver in that room anymore. Stephon Diggs gone off to Houston.
Khalil Shakur disrespect.
Yeah. All right. So with this pick, we're taking Brian Thomas Jr. here for the Bills. It makes sense. They need to get Josh Allen a weapon, and they move up, get the last of the the big Class A receivers before we get into the just the good ones instead of the great ones. You know what I mean? So Bills move up, pay a hefty price to do it, but that's the name of the game here. And now Trent, you are up with your Indianapolis Colts.
Yep. I really would have been battling had Bowers made it to 15 between taking my medicine and taking what they need and taking Bowers. Colts got to go Terry and Arnold if the board falls this way. The cornerback room is an eyesore. It's easily the biggest weak spot on the team. We definitely need to address tight end at some point, and maybe that's something we do later in the draft. I think we have 6 guys on the roster, and maybe one of them is good. Maybe one of them is good, if I'm being as gracious as I can to the tight end room. But Terry Arnold was one of the best corners in college. He's going to be a guy he's going to hit the ground running from the start. And I like Quinyon Mitchell a lot. I probably prefer Quinyon Mitchell a little bit in terms of the intangibles, the testing, the athleticism, things like that. But I have no issues if the Colts end up taking Terry Arnold here at 15.
And you're up again with the Seattle Seahawks. And
he's good.
Okay.
But one of the biggest needs that Seattle is going to have is interior defensive line, and they're going to be able to take the best defensive tackle off the board. Byron Murphy II out of Texas. I believe he had 33 pressures from interior defensive line this past season. So they get the best guy in the draft to fill one of the biggest needs in the team.
And it's a perfect schematic fit because they get Mike McDonald in. Mike McDonald, of course, from the Wink Martindale School of Thought, and he was defensive coordinator at Michigan, and that scheme starts from there, and they need that kind of, that presence in there.
Give you a nice penetrator.
Yep.
All right, Trent. One more time. Division rival Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's a really weird pick. It's something I've been thinking about all day, honestly. They could go a million different ways here. There's a lot of great wide receivers, in this class. It's obviously a big drop-off. It's a very deep class, I meant to say. And there's a lot of guys they could, but there's kind of a tier break after you get rid of Brian Thomas Jr. The rest of the guys kind of seem like high second or high first, low second kind of guy, or high first, low second kind of guys, I should say. I apologize. If I had to take one pick for him, I would probably go Xavier Worthy. If I had to pick any of the receivers here for Jacksonville, you get that burner, you get that 4.2 speed. There's a lot of questions about his size. There's probably going to be questions about 50-50 balls, things like that. But you have a guy who's a nice change of pace from a guy like Christian Kirk, and I think that they could be a really, really good combo there for Trevor Lawrence.
Up next, Cam, the Broncos are on the clock, and I know we're all thinking kind of doomsday Broncos situation. They go ahead and they take Bo Nix here at, what is it, 18? You're not going to do him that dirty, right?
I am not going to do it, especially since that is kind of the idea of them moving back and acquiring that second that they don't have. So that on day 2, if Bo Nix really is their guy, they can go get him. Or even if they wanted to trade back into the back of round 1, if they were that concerned about getting him, they have now the flexibility with acquiring that second round pick from the Bengals. Here, I think they address their biggest pressing need outside of quarterback, and that's edge rusher. And then you're between, is it Leatu Latu? Is it Jared Verse? I think for their purposes, Leatu Latu makes more sense, and that's what I'm going to go with. But it's a 50-50 shot. There's a big 3 edge rusher kind of tier, in my opinion, in this draft, and both of them are here, but I'm going to go with Latu.
I don't remember how to spell his first name.
Laiatu.
Yep. And then Latu.
And then Latu, yeah.
And now, I don't know why it says I have the Rams. Trent, that's your pick.
Yep.
So ignore that.
You really swiped Latu from me. That was good.
Go with the other one. Go with the other one.
Well, I like Jared Verse. There are some character issues I have with him personally. Effort and things like that. I've heard there's kind of some negatives out there about him. I really like Chop Robinson personally. I think Chop Robinson's a little undervalued. I think he should be a middle of the first round guy, and I think he's probably going to be towards the end of the first. I'll pick Jared Verse because I think that's more likely what they would do. He's the more hyped up guy. They seem to like him more as far as draft evaluators. So I'll go Jared Verse. Me personally, I wouldn't mind Chop Robinson there at all. But with Aaron Donald retiring, you need to shore up the pass rush with him gone. In a perfect world, Byron Murphy would fall to that spot. I don't think he's going to. So I think edge rusher, whether you go Jared Verse or Chop Robinson, I don't think you can go wrong if you're LA.
All right, Ken, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are you doing with them?
What'd you call it? So I wish I could just give them a horrible player, but I'm going to be honest here and go with what they need. And I'm going to replace Deontay Johnson with A.D. Mitchell to give them a number 2 for the future with George Pickens.
Great pick. It's been well touted on this podcast that if the Patriots were to trade down with the Vikings and they're at pick 23, that's the receiver I want, but he goes a little earlier than that. So great pick, Ken. That's my draft crush right there. All right, I got the Miami Dolphins, and I think it's pretty clear the 2 ways that they could go. Personally, I think it's offensive line, or it's something to do with that front 7. Tua obviously is a health concern, but obviously they lost Christian Wilkins as well. So, with all that in mind, you think it's a little early for Johnny Newton to go here? Because I think that's a pretty good spot to replace Christian Wilkins.
I don't.
Great.
Yeah,
that is all the validation I need. Johnny Newton, defensive lineman, another angry, mean pass rusher that the Patriots now got to deal with. That is terrific. All right, Ken, Philadelphia.
With the horrific secondary they've had, I'm gonna go up my next best corner I have, and that's Nate Wiggins. Replace the fossils they have at corner.
Yeah, they do got an old quarterback room, don't they?
Yeah.
All right, Cam. This pick has had a couple of different hands. It went from Houston to Minnesota to now the Chargers. You're at 23.
The Chargers, I think this plays into the Jim Harbaugh DNA. Now, you could argue receiver, but in my opinion, with AD coming off the board and Worthy coming off the board, I think it's a little, especially with them also holding an early second, I think drafting a receiver here is a little much, especially since who fell here, and they can take Troy Fontenot out of Washington. And honestly, he probably should have gone before here, and probably will in real life. But at the same time, it's we're picking as if, in our opinion, but the league is very high on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the top 15. So yeah, that would go with Troy Fontenot.
Justin Herbert gets some help on the offense. You love to see it. Ken, you're up with the Dallas Cowboys.
That you just slighted me, my dog. I was just about to pick him. So I guess I'll go with Amarius Mims to replace Tyron Smith and keep Tyler Smith at guard.
It's a big guy to get on tackle. That's a huge pickup for them, literally. All right. Yeah, I think I heard something today that he was like 6'7", like 340. Like, he's a big dude.
Yeah, he was close, 6'8".
Everybody's favorite team, the Green Bay Packers. Cam, you're up.
I'm going to continue the run on tackles because I think that is probably their biggest need. And I'm going to take Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. And I think that's where they would probably go in this scenario. I think they would have probably preferred maybe Mims to develop him or something in real life, but Guyton is no slouch of a consolation prize. And they're about to pay Jordan Love, and they got a franchise quarterback, and they got to protect him, especially with the departure of David Bakhtiari.
And I'm up now with Tampa. A couple different things that I could do here. They need a center bad. They need some corner help after trading Carlton Davis. And they need a pass rusher. I don't know if Tampa's going to be able to help themselves when they see Chop Robinson here at 26. I think that's going to be the pick here for me. But I also had the top centers on the board. I had some corners on the board, like, the last guys left between Cooper DeJean and Kool-Aid McKinstry. But I think Chop Robinson probably the best value here at, 20? Chop Robinson. All right, who's next as I scroll through and update the board? It is Trent with Arizona, their second pick. What do you got?
So I think it's going to be, I don't know if it's my second. No, it's going to be the second corner that one of my teams is taking. I think the Cardinals take Cooper DeJean here. I think they'd be over the moon if DeJean fell this far. I know him and Nate Wiggins are kind of in the same tier, so to speak. It kind of seems that people talk about Quinyon Mitchell and Terrion Arnold in tier, and then a separate tier is kind of Nate Wiggins and Cooper DeJean. They need corner help in a bad way. And if they can walk away with either Nate Wiggins or Cooper DeJean, two guys who would be a serious impact player on that defense right away, I think they'd be pretty happy with that.
And up next, the Saints, who moved down. They need offensive line help bad. They need some serious offensive line help. And I'm going to take, I already forgot his name. It is Jackson Powers Johnson for the interior. And hopefully they can keep Derek Carr upright for however long he has left in this league. It's not long. All right. Cam, you are up with the Detroit Lions. You giving them Michael Penix here and having them move off of Jared Goff already?
That would be comedy, but no. You actually sniped the pick that, from what I understand, most Lions fans would like is Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah.
But given that's now out of the picture, for me, I think they probably should go corner. I know they signed Carlton Davis, but past Carlton Davis, there's not a whole lot going on there. So for me, I think they are the team that takes Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama.
Oh,
And
me and Trent know a guy who'd be really happy with that.
Yep.
so we're gonna lock in Kool-Aid.
Great pick. The Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid is getting real. All right, Ken, this is your team. This is your moment. This is your time to shine. This is the Baltimore Ravens at pick 30. What are you doing? What do you want?
I'm gonna go with a classic Ozzie Newsome pick and go with an Alabama guy and J.C. Latham, unless he's been picked already.
Nope,
No,
you're
he's not.
good. Why?
Yeah, J.C. Latham. We need a tackle, and he could also play guard if he doesn't work at tackle, and we need both. And he has the length, he has the strength, and he's great in the run game. We're gonna run with Derrick Henry.
Ravens going to be just as dangerous as they were last year. All right, Trent, this is your last pick of the night. You have the San Francisco 49ers. Hopefully you're still here with us. Your camera's a bit frozen, but we'll work with it. What are you doing with the Niners
You
here?
got me? You got me?
We do.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. It'd be really funny if they pick Michael Penix Jr. I don't think they're going to do that though. I think offensive tackle, shoring up the right side of that offensive line is probably going to be where they're looking. I don't hate the idea of looking at receiver. I haven't heard much steam in terms of them doing that. So best tackle left on the board, most likely Jordan Morgan out of Arizona. From what I understand, probably the best tackle left. I really like the tackle out of Houston. His name's escaping me. What's his name?
Patrick Paul.
Patrick
Patrick Paul.
Yeah, I really like Patrick Paul. I don't think that would be a bad pick here either. But shoring up that right side of the line is going to be really key to them this upcoming season. It was a bit wobbly the entire last 2023 campaign. So I'll go with Jordan Morgan out of Arizona.
And Cam, our Mr. Irrelevant of the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs. What are you thinking?
With here, it's like the average pick is giving them a wide receiver, and it makes a lot of sense to do so. But they did bring in Marquise Brown, Rashee Rice. I'm not really sure what's going on with him. But with the run, I think tackle, I think is maybe where they go in real life. But we did have a big run on tackles here. So I'm going to just give them my best receiver on the board, and then they can address that later, and they can kind of have a sure thing on a rookie deal with all the question marks, and I'm going to have them select Ladd McConkey out of Georgia.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Ladd McConkey. I did not spell that right. It's 2 C's.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like your name, but not.
Yep. I jumped the K a little early. All right. That is your Foxboro Beat mock draft, one and only, because we only need one. Let's scroll back to the top. Let's fly through it really quickly one more time, just so you all kind of get to digest it here. First overall pick, Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC. Second overall pick, the pick you all care about, number 3 with the New England Patriots. I gave them Drake May. Fingers crossed that trading down is still a possibility. I talked myself so far into it at this point. All right. The Arizona Cardinals. After that, the Vikings trade up with the Chargers to go get their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. After that, the Giants go Malik Neighbors. The Titans go Joe Alt. The Falcons go Dallas Turner. The Bears go and get the Jets go take Talise Fuaga, but again, we talked about Brock Bowers maybe being a serious pick there, or the Jets could just go off the wall like they tend to do. After that, it was the Chargers scooped up Brock, hopefully find their T. Higgins replacement in Rome Odunze. After that, the Raiders, they go and take cornerback Quinyon Mitchell. The Bills trade up with the Saints to go get Brian Arnold. The Seahawks take Byron Murphy off the board. The Jaguars then go and take a deep threat wide receiver, Xavier Worthy. The Broncos trade after trading down with the Bengals. They go and get Laiatu Latu. And the Rams take Jared Verse after that. Ken takes my draft crush for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Adonai Mitchell. I gave the Dolphins defensive lineman John goes to the Eagles. Tyler offensive tackle. This is our offensive tackle run. Amarius Mims. The Packers go take Tyler Guyton. I gave the Buccaneers Chop Robinson. Cooper DeJean after that goes to the Cardinals. Jackson Powers Johnson goes to the Saints. The Lions go Blade McKinstry. Niners take offensive tackle Jordan Morgan. And finally, at the end of the first round, Ladd McConkey becomes a Kansas City Chief. Gives Patrick Mahomes a serious offensive weapon. All right, so that wraps up the one and only mock draft. As I stop sharing here, get us back to our group layout here, as Trent is still giving us like he's in the middle of explaining something to us. But yeah, all right. 35 minutes in, that was our Foxboro Beat mock draft. Ken, Trent, Cam, thank you for participating and making this a fun event. This is the first time that we are testing out this new software, and hopefully when I go back and it looks a lot smoother. And yeah, I'm not sure if we'll do a show next week for Tuesday with the draft already. I plan on streaming for you guys at least night one. Cam, are you going to be there?
As far as I know, yeah.
Terrific. Trent, you enjoy being at the draft yourself. Ken, you enjoy this is basically Christmas for you, right?
Something like that.
Something like that.
A little holiday.
No, you love to see it. And all right, so we'll wrap it up here. Short episode, but I know you guys aren't complaining about that. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow. What'd you say, Ken?
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Absolutely. 2 weeks in a row. Like I said, like, subscribe, follow the show. Tune in next week while we come in for the live draft show on our Facebook page or YouTube. I can stream on both here, so that's cool. And we will see you all next week. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Foxboro BeatCast. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.